What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another new Comic Book Day haul. I am your host, AR Comics, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 list for New Comic Book Day, July 21st, 2021. I picked up a total of 15 issues this week. That is hands down one of the biggest New Comic Book Day hauls I've had on this channel, but you know what that means. 5 of them did not make the top 10 list. And before I get into those books, if you are new to the channel, I drop weekly comic book content that'll keep you up to date on all of the latest releases. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you hit the subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified. Every time I drop new content, you won't regret it. And now, without further ado, let's get started on the top 10 books this week. So I hope you're all having a fantastic New Comic Book Day this week and you've enjoyed all the issues you've read so far. As I was saying before, I picked up a total of 15 issues this week. That is hands down one of the biggest New Comic Book Day hauls I've had since starting this channel. And indie lovers, this was our week. All the comic book indie publishers absolutely killed it. Marvel, I grabbed a few issues from them and honestly I thought the books were pretty solid. DC, I'm sorry I didn't get any of your books this week. I'm sure you probably had some pretty good ones though. Now before I get started off on these 5 books that did not make the top 10 list, as always I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but you guys already know sometimes spoilers do happen. I get excited talking about these books. Now with these 5 that did not make the cut, I'm just going to be giving a brief overview pretty much of what the issue was about and why I didn't like it. I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with these because I really want to talk about the top 10 list. So now this first one, we've got AWA Upshots, Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, issue number 3. This is cover A. Honestly, I'm not really liking this series so far. I like the overall concept of the story, a time-traveling criminal. I think that's very cool. I want more time-traveling stuff, though. So far with this series, I feel like it's mainly been Marjorie Finnegan versus her sister. And while they did a pretty good job telling a backstory of why they hate each other, that's not what I really want to see from this series. It's only an 8-issue mini run. I want just more time-traveling stuff. So for those reasons, if you haven't already started this series, I would suggest waiting for the trade paperback because in my opinion, it's just not very good right now, but it could get better. So for those reasons, it did not make the top 10 list though. Moving on to this next one, we've got Images, Skybound X, issue number 3. This is cover A. This is one I had a lot higher hopes for. I'm not really enjoying it so far. I want more of this Walking Dead Rick Grimes 2000 story. I understand the concept they're trying to do with Skybound celebrating 10 years of their stories, and I think that's awesome. I'm glad that they're incorporating a lot more stories into this book because some of these I've never heard of, I've never read. I think last week they had Birthright, and there's a few other series I never gave a chance. So me being able to have a small little piece of what that story is, I think that's really nice for some new readers. But right now with me, I want more of this Walking Dead story. That's why I'm pretty much only buying this still. I feel invested in it. It's got aliens, it's Walking Dead, it's very futuristic. I like it. But for those reasons, I can't put it in the top 10 list because I'm not really interested in some of these other stories right now. That's pretty much the main focus of what I want. So moving this one out of the way, next up we've got Images' brand new one, Mom, Mother of Madness, issue number 1. This is another one I had pretty high hopes for. It's written by Emilia Clarke, and I like her in Game of Thrones and some of the other things that she's done. But this story just didn't really hit with me. I really liked the artwork. There was a ton of backstory, and that wasn't a bad thing. It really developed the main character. I feel like if you were a mom, you could probably relate to this one a lot more than just the average person, but it just didn't hit with me. I'm probably not going to be continuing on with this series. I think it's only 3 or 4 issues. So moving this one out of the way. Next up, we've got Boom Studios' brand new one, Dark Blood, issue number 1. This was another one that I had really high hopes for, and it wasn't bad at all. The artwork was very nice. The story itself, we didn't get a lot of pretty much anything. It reminded me of the first issue of Basilisk, except that was way more mysterious. It was creepy, and it left me with, I need another issue right now. This one, we just got to see the main character, and we basically, this is a little bit of a spoiler. We found out he had some powers, and then it kind of ended. We saw a little bit of backstory, but I'm going to keep going with this one. I think the story's going to get a lot better, but as far as the first issue goes, I would have hoped we would have gotten a little bit more out of it. So for those reasons, this one didn't make the top 10 list. And now for this final one, we've got Images, Philadelphia, issue number 15. This is cover A. I actually really like this issue. There was just a ton of issues that I picked up this week that were just better. This one picks up right where the last one left off. There was a ton of action, and we've got everybody just kind of fighting and off doing their own thing. I believe his name is Seesaw. He's on like some spiritual journey right now while everyone is just at their throats, literally, because they're vampires. So if I didn't have such a big week, this one would have made the top 10 list, but now let's talk about the real list. All right, so to kick this list off this week, we've got coming in at number 10. This is Marvel's Alien issue number 5. This is cover A. And to me, this is a series that just keeps getting better and better. I've read so much Alien stuff. I've read Alien versus Predator, most of the Predator stuff, and I think to myself, how can they really make a series that's going to stand out to me? How's it going to keep me intrigued? Because I feel like I've read it all. And even the last week's one-shot was like, wow, this is fantastic. And this one, it's just like a typical Alien story. But the story they're trying to tell right now has been so good. This one picks up right where the last one left off, but the cool thing with this is we get a ton of backstory. We get to see the dad. Things that happened to him in the past, about 20 years ago on the ship, pretty much when that big thing happened. I'm not going to really be getting into all of it if you haven't started this series, but we saw what happened to him on the ship. We got to see the things that he saw once the face hugger was kind of on him, and just, I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And then we got to see what happened with his two sons. We got to see Danny, and I believe the other son's name was Lucas, and just what happened on the ship with them. And then it brought us back into present time, and he's still trying to save his son Danny from all the aliens. And then we got a little bit of a plot twist towards the end. I'm saying this series has just been so good. It's been above and beyond of what I thought Marvel could do with an Alien series. Definitely give it a shot, especially if you're into the monsters and stuff. It's a no-brainer. But for those reasons, we've got Alien issue number 5 coming in at number 10. Next up on my list today, we've got coming in at number 9. This is Image's brand new miniseries, Siphon, issue number 1. This is cover A. I believe this is just a 3-issue mini run. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they did a phenomenal job with the setup of this story. Right off the bat, we get a little bit of action. We find out that there's this power out in the world right now. And then we automatically go to this main character. We learn who he is, what his job is, and a little bit of backstory about him. He's very compassionate. He's an EMT. He goes out of his way every day to try to save people's lives and help them. And that's really important to this story because this power, this is definitely a spoiler, it goes to him because he's worthy of the power. And with this, you kind of learn then that he consumes other people's emotions and their feelings. Basically, if they're sad or they're angry, he consumes that, and now it's his problem. After that, though, the story just kind of does a 180. There's a couple plot twists, and it definitely thickens. This power, there's way more to it than we saw initially, and I can't wait to see where they go with this one. If you had a lighter week, or even if you had a heavy week, I highly suggest checking this one out. Like I said, I think it's only a 3-issue mini run, but this was a phenomenal setup to a first issue. So we've got Siphon, issue number 1, coming in at number 9. And next up, we've got coming in at number 8 this week. This is Boom Studios, Proctor Valley Road, issue number 5. This is cover A, and this is the series finale. I think they did a great job with this series overall. It was such a fun read. It was definitely more on the cartoonish side. At some points, I think it was a little cheesy, but I really enjoyed it. I think they did a great job wrapping everything up. Every kind of open plot that they've had throughout the series. I know it's only a 5-issue mini, but they've got so many different things going on. You had all the girls. At some point, they started hating each other. You had the landlady. You had the missing boys, and everything got wrapped up in this one. We got a little bit more backstory on the girls, even though it was the end of the series too. They kind of left it open for another one. I'm hoping they do. I really like the characters that they developed. I think these girls were really fun to read about, and I would like to see a little bit more about Proctor Valley Road, these girls in general, and just seeing where they go with things. So for those reasons, definitely check this out. Definitely get the trade paperback if you can, if you missed out on the single issues. But we've got Proctor Valley Road, issue number 5, coming in at number 8. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 7. This is Image's Shadecraft, issue number 5. This is cover A, and this is also the end of the first arc. I am so happy you guys got me to stick around with this series. Around issue 2, I really wasn't feeling it anymore, but I gave it issue 3. But man, issue 3 and then 4, things really got heated up. Things really took off. They got all the other characters involved, and it wasn't just this main character trying to learn how to play with shadows anymore. It developed so much more, and this one picks up right where the last one left off. The whole family is now trying to save the brother, and honestly, that was pretty much the entire issue. There was a lot of action. The main character, she was really developing her shadow abilities in this one. She learned a little bit more from her mom, and I thought the way they ended it was really well done. It kind of wrapped things up, but at the same time, is just opening up an entire new arc with a brand new story. Can't wait to see where they go with it. In the beginning, I wouldn't have suggested it, but now I definitely suggest checking out Shadecraft. If you can make it through the first couple issues, I'm telling you, the story really develops with this one. So we've got coming in at number 7, Shadecraft, issue number 5. And next up, we've got coming in at number 6 this week. This is Marvel's brand new series, Moon Knight, issue number 1. This is cover A, and I literally went into this with 0 expectations. I don't have that much knowledge of the Moon Knight character. I've been reading a lot of newer Marvel stuff, and for the most part, I don't really think most of it is all that good. And this was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Right off the bat, I love the artwork. I feel like the artwork really made the story, and they did such a great job telling the actual story. So, like I was saying, for me, going into this with almost zero Moon Knight knowledge, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I don't know too much about this character, but man, they really got us up to speed. We got to see what Moon Knight Mark Spector is about, who he fights, and for you people who haven't really read Moon Knight either, he kind of gave off some Daredevil vibes to me, like, this is my neighborhood, you will not be in this community, I protect these people, except he's willing to go above and beyond, and he's going to kill these bad guys as well. I thought it was very badass. I really like the other little plot twists and stories that they had in there. I'm really excited to see where they go with this one. They left us off on a cliffhanger too, and I don't know, I think they've got a good hit on their hands with this one. So for those reasons, we've got Moon Knight issue number 1 coming in at number 6. And now we're down to the top 5 issues of the week. We've got coming in at number 5, this is Marvel's Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 28. This is cover A, and this is the end of the arc. The Clone Saga is over, maybe. But I think they did a great job wrapping things up. I really like the story. I love just the interaction that Miles had with all of the clones. And not all the clones were even that bad because, you know, they're part of Miles. The only problem I had with this issue, not really the whole arc in general, it kind of felt rushed. To me, they were really building up this story of just Miles versus Salim. And then once he kind of got there, a little bit of action happened, and I almost feel like it was just 2 pages worth of fighting, maybe even 3, and it was over. But then just the overall ending that it had, it just felt so wholesome. It was very nice. Overall, Saladin Ahmed is absolutely killing it with this character, this story. He's bringing Miles to life right now. I can't wait to see him on the big screen either. You know he's going to be in that new Spider-Man movie. You definitely need to check this series out. So for those reasons, we've got Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 28, coming in at number 5. Next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 4. This is Image's Undiscovered Country, issue number 14. This is cover A, and this is exactly the issue that I wanted them to give us this week. So with the last couple arcs, I feel like they really expanded on the zones early on. We got to know what they were all about, and we got to see just the horrors that are in there. This one, it started off a little slow, and then we got to see a little bit of action, but we didn't really know exactly what was going on other than you need to be really creative. So this whole zone is about creativity. The only way you can make it through the zone and into the next one is that you need to leave your mark on the United States soil. You need to leave your legacy there. You need to make something pretty much worthwhile for the zone. And with this one, they gave us a little bit of backstory on why the characters were fighting them in the last one. So all of these characters, some of them that we've recognized, they were hungry. They were just leftover characters. They were just stories, and they were reliving the same ones over and over. So when they saw something new enter the zone, they were like, we got to hop on this immediately. And I really like that they kind of brought us up to speed with all the things that were happening with that. We got to see a little bit of backstory on Valentina as well. Her love of comic books, that got brought into this issue. This one kind of really focused on superheroes. And I don't know, I'm just really loving this series. I love everything about it. This is something I've been suggesting to people since day one. This would make a phenomenal movie in my opinion. Definitely give it a shot if you can. But we've got coming in at number 4, Undiscovered Country, issue number 14. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 3, this is Devil's Due Comics. Trailer Park Boys, get an effing comic book, issue number 1. This is cover D, the photo variant. I love this book. I love the Trailer Park Boys. I'm not going to be sticking on this one for too long because if you're not a Trailer Park Boys fan, you're not really going to truly appreciate this book. I feel like as I was reading this, the issue itself is a bunch of short stories. So if you were interested in it, that's what it is. It's not one main story, it's just a bunch of them. But I swear, as I was reading this, I read everything in everybody's voices, you know, Bubbles, Julian, Ricky. For Ricky, they even spelled things wrong. Mr. Leahy's still, you know, the drunk getting pissed off at all the guys. I don't know. This is a comic book literally just for the fans. If you're trying to hop on Trailer Park Boys, this is not the spot to do it. You definitely need to watch the show just to truly appreciate this one. I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with the actual stories itself, but if you're a fan, definitely pick this one up. It was totally worth it. We've got Trailer Park Boys Get a Neffing Comic Book, issue number 1, coming in at number 3. And here we go. We've got coming in at number 2 this week. This is Boom Studios, The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, issue number 4. This is cover A, and this series just continues to get better and better. Rom V is absolutely on fire with this one, and not just the story getting better, but it's getting deeper, and I feel more invested in this. I think there's only one more issue for it too, and I cannot wait to see how it ends. So with this one, it picks up pretty much how the other ones have started as well. We've got Lila Starr. If you're reading it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. She's basically reincarnated after the last time she died, but with this one, she finally runs into Darius Shaw, but this time he recognizes her. They have a sit down, and basically all the info about her comes into light to him, and he is furious. He is pissed off. He knows that she is the god of death, and I think this one really just sets the rest of the story in motion. I cannot wait to see how Rom V finishes this one off. I've loved it so far. Do yourself a favor. Please find the extra prints for this one. It is such a fantastic read. So for those reasons, we've got The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, issue number 4, coming in at number 2. And this is it, my top read of the week. We've got coming in at number 1 this week. This is Images, Radiant Black, issue number 6. This is cover A, and I loved this issue so much. So The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, issue 4, was actually my number 1 choice until I read this one. I saved this one for last. I knew I was going to love it, especially because we knew it wasn't going to be a main issue. They were kind of going to be introducing another Radiant Black superhero, one that we've already seen, but now the backstory on it, and man, Kyle Higgins, the backstory on this character was insane. I loved it. We got to see who she was and basically just her family, and just, I don't know, over the years of her with her husband and how things developed to the way they were. And then once she got the costume, how things progressed from there. I don't really want to spoil it. This is something you need to read for yourself, because I feel like if I really talk about it even more, it's just going to give away just the real story of it and of itself. And I feel like I already spoiled enough for this one. You need to read it. Radiant Black is a phenomenal series. Kyle Higgins is on fire. Image has a massive hit on their hands with this one. We've got Radiant Black, issue number 6, coming in at number 1. So what do you guys think about this week's new comic book day? 15 issues this week I picked up, and hands down, Radiant Black issue number 6 was my number 1 choice this week. I'm sorry, Boom Studios. The Many Deaths of Lila Starr issue 4 was fantastic, and the Trailer Park Boys one was great too, but nothing was topping Kyle Higgins' Radiant Black issue number 6. And let me know down below in the comment section what your favorite issue of the week was, and which ones you think I missed out on. And thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down low, and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new content, because you won't regret it. And I've got 2 more videos sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.